Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually going to be looking at some of the plants that we potted up from the various propagations that we did all summer long. So stuff like the pink princess philodendron and, you know, all those other plants that were mixed in with those videos. I'll also post the links to all of my propagation update videos down below so you can kind of look through them. They're also all in my plant playlist, which you can find on my channel, I think. I don't really know how to get to playlists. Okay, I'm new to this. I've had quite a few people on Instagram actually ask me how the cuttings are coming along, how the plants are coming along. So this is a little update for all of you guys over there. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at plants like the philodendron pink princess that we had. That was a big hit. That kind of, you know, helped my channel out a lot. We're also going to be looking at the Peperomia hope cuttings, how those are coming along, and the string of hearts that I totally ruined. We're going to be taking a look at those, even though not much has happened, and I think I showed them in my last propagation update video, which was last week. So not much has happened since then. So yeah, let's just jump right into it and see how they've done over the last little while. Okay, so I've set out some of the more popular plants from those cutting videos. There's Boone back there. Yeah, so I set out some of the more popular plants that we did in those propagation videos and in some of the potting videos. So we're going to take a look at some of them right now. We're going to start with the latest one, which is my, what is it called? string of hearts. So I did feature this in my last propagation video. Yeah, not much has changed. I mean, it's only been like a week since that video. So what ended up happening was, if you watch the video where I basically just destroyed these, I cut them up, I tried to propagate them, I tried to repot them, but that whole thing turned to mold. So I ended up doing the butterfly method with this, which is just kind of cutting up the little pieces. The way these things grow, it's like one long vine, and then there will be two branches off of the vine where these two leaves will come off of. So you just cut on either side of that vine, and then you plant those two in the soil. And then eventually it'll root and start branching out from there. So I have two pots of these. I got this one, and I have another one, which is just hanging up here over my sink. And I think that one is doing a little bit better. Next, if you remember way back, I had some neon pothos cuttings in with some of the other propagations that I was doing. I ended up potting up the neon pothos. I didn't have one of these. All of these cuttings came from my mom's plant. I didn't have one because, you know, I wasn't a big fan of this like lime green color. I'm not a big fan of this color, but I don't have one of these, and I figured I might as well add one to my collection since I had all these cuttings. So it is not really doing that much, to be honest. I potted it in here, and that was pretty much it. I actually don't think that there have been any new leaves sprouting off of this yet. I'm not too worried about it. Pothos are super easy, as I'm sure most of you know. So I think given some time, this will end up just growing the same as any other pothos would. Okay, next let's pull this out. This is the apricot tree that I germinated from a seed. This was the only seed that germinated. I think I had like 5 or 6 of them. And you can check out the progress on how those seeds germinated in my pink princess philodendron propagation videos. But this has been doing well. I had to cut it back because I don't know if you can see, but where it was growing at the tip, it was almost like it pushed out a whole bunch of new growth really fast, and it kind of got all jumbled and gross and disfigured. So I ended up cutting that off because it wasn't doing anything, and it still hasn't grown back. So I guess I'm just gonna leave it, see how it goes, see how it grows, and yeah, I'll keep everybody updated on that. But these leaves are so cool. They've got like little serrations around the edge. I've never seen an apricot tree before. In pretty much all of my propagation videos, I've featured satin pothos. We've water propagated them, we've propagated them in sphagnum, and most of them I shoved back into the mother plant, but this one I potted up separately because I didn't realize that there was hardly any room in the mother plant. So this is doing well. There are some new leaves, so like, if you look down here, that's a new leaf. I'm pretty sure this was a new leaf, but it's It's a little older now. We've got some new growth coming out over here. So this is growing really well and actually really fast. I have this in a really bright area though. These things can handle kind of darker spaces, but I have this in a bright window just so that it could get as much growth as possible. And this is probably like one of my favorite plants. I just love the velvety leaves and the spots and the dark colors. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out and how it's going. Okay, so next we're gonna look at this Monstera. If you remember back in my earliest propagation videos, I had these in water. They're cuttings from my grandma's plant that she's had for a very long time. And I finally potted them up because the roots were getting really big. This leaf actually grew while it was being propagated, but that's all it's done. I put it in this pot with this moss pole. I've even kind of taped it up to the moss pole, this one at least, which I got really close. And there hasn't been like any progress, no new growth, nothing really. I mean, these leaves are pretty healthy. I think the plant is pretty healthy and doing well, so it's probably just taking a while to get used to, you know, being in here. But man, it's taking a long time. I think these have been potted up for like the last, I don't know, 3 months maybe. I'm not sure how long ago that video was, but yeah, hasn't done anything. Okay, moving on now, we have the Peperomia Hope. This video, my Peperomia Hope propagation video, is actually done really well. People seem to really like that. And if you remember, we had all of these cuttings rooting in little terracotta pots, but then the terracotta pots themselves got really gross with the moisture, and they had really nice roots on them, so we decided to pot them up in what would be their, like, I don't know, long-term home, I guess. So we have this one, and you can see right here on the side and right over here that it's starting to push out new growth, which, like, all of that is new. There's another little one right there. There's one over there. I think that's pretty much it. I haven't looked under these leaves to see if there's anything growing over there, but it's doing really well. This plant is going to be so full when it grows. Like, all of these individual leaves are individual plants, basically. They're all going to grow into separate vines. So it's going to be so nice and thick and bushy. I kind of wish that I had, you know, maybe done it like 3 or 4 for one of these, because then I could sell them for a bunch. But I kind of want to keep this one for myself because I have a feeling it's going to be really nice and full. This one over here is going a little bit slower. So you can see we've got new growth right up there. I think that's it though. Again, I haven't looked under these. I'm trying not to disturb the petals as much as I can, just to kind of give them time to establish their root system and push out new growth. So this one, I think this was just the leftovers, because this one looks a lot more full. So this one was probably just like the leftover pieces that I shoved in here. So I think that it'll grow. I mean, it's taking a little bit longer, but I have faith that, or I guess I have hope that this plant will turn out like this one and start pushing out a bunch of new growth. But this is still really a good sign. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's exciting. Lastly, we have the Pink Princess herself. And this plant was sort of what got me started in sharing the propagation updates. I took cuttings of this. People seemed to love it. And then I just kept updating them on how the cuttings were going, because people were asking how they were doing, how the roots were coming in. So I ended up just placing all of the cuttings right back into this plant with the mother plant. I made a moss pole, put it in the middle, and it's been doing really well. So this whole leaf is actually a new leaf that came in a few weeks ago, and look at all that pink. So if you remember, I originally cut this plant up because this was the only pink, or I guess these two were the only pink leaves on the mother plant, and then after that it grew a whole bunch of green leaves. And I had heard that if you cut back to the last pink leaf, it will promote new pink growth. And as you can see here, it definitely worked. So this is off of the mother plant. And yeah, it pushed out a whole bunch of new pink. We also have this leaf right here that came off of the mother plant. It was just a little one. Actually, I think this one was first, this little one, and then this one came out afterwards. And we have another one that is just kind of pushing out now. I'm not sure if that one will have any pink on it or what, but it's looking pretty good. So the rest of these cuttings that I put in here, I'm not sure. So this little leaf right here is a new leaf from one of the cuttings that we put back in here. It looks pretty, like it's a dark pink now, but when the leaves come in, they come in a dark red, and then they sort of fade to like this darker green color. So I have a feeling that this one is going to look the same as all these dark green ones. That's a new leaf back there. That's on a cutting as well. Let me just try to grab that one, see where I'm grabbing. So these two leaves, yeah, these two leaves are from one of the cuttings that we had rooted and put in here. Again, they don't have much pink. They're just, you know, regular green ones. I think this one was stunted because it hasn't really grown and it's kind of looking pretty sad. Then we also had a cutting that had this leaf. Oh, I think they're all on the same one. This leaf that was coming in while we were rooting them in water. This one has never unfurrowed. Unfurrowed? Unfurrowed? I can't say that word. It hasn't opened up. I'm not sure if it will ever open up or if it's just kind of, you know, we stunted it when we cut it and that's kind of the end of that. So I guess we'll see. But the rest of these, I don't know. I don't know if these will push out any new pink growth. I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So far, the mother plant has done exactly what I read that it was supposed to and pushed out new pink growth. So that method obviously works. Hopefully, this new leaf that is coming in will also have some pink. But yeah, this one turned out really good. This one was definitely a success. I suppose I should also mention that I potted up this TRADESCANTIA that I showed in my last propagation video. It was ready to be planted up, so I just kind of shoved all of it into one pot, and I've got it hanging here in my kitchen. It doesn't get a ton of light where it is, but I think it'll do fine. If it starts to get leggy and gross, which I have no doubt that it will, I'll probably just move it to a brighter location. I also potted up the Peperomia ORBA, so I've got all of those cuttings in this little terracotta pot as well. Yeah, we'll see how those grow. I've never had one of these before, so it'll be interesting to see just how it grows and how quickly it grows, because some peperomias grow really fast, but others I've noticed are kind of slow, so hopefully this is one of the fast ones. And that's about it for this video. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for the interest that you guys have shown in these propagations that I've been doing all summer long. I've continued to put out these propagation videos just because there's been so much interest in how these cuttings are doing and how I've been propagating these different plants. I mean, mostly it's just been by water and sphagnum moss, but still it's interesting seeing how these plants grow and how long it takes and stuff like that. So yeah, see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for similar content. On Mondays, I post videos about houseplants, and on Fridays, I also post videos about houseplants, and reading, writing, photography, art, and any other generic interests of mine. As always, you can find my social media links in the description below. Also, you can find links to H&H Games, the board game company I've helped create, and our debut board game, Season of Heroes. You can also find the Amazon links to my fantasy series, A Chronicle of Crowns. Thanks for watching, bye!